Cockroaches. Motherfucker, free man. Bad guy. You know. Come on, it's the cartel. Hey, Tony Martin. Tony Martin. Tony Martin. Tony Martin. Think about my ear. Tony Martin. Tony Martin. Tony Martin.
About to cut the Porsche. Tony Montana. Tony Montana. Cut the goddamn music. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to KC's Corner. NinerGang remix. And as you can tell, I'm not really in the mood to be singing Tony Montana. Cutting a Porsche. You leave me no choice. Not in the mood for any of that. Because the San Francisco 49ers choked away a game Sunday night against the Chicago Bears that still has me pissed off. Now, I'm not as mad as I was following the game. Oh, I was pretty damn upset. I was pretty upset at the end of that game. You got beautiful Levi Stadium being unveiled to the world in all its glory. You got the Niners hopping out to a 17-point lead in the first half, dominating the game in every facet of the game, and then choking away what's supposed to be a 2-0 start to the season and losing 28-20. I was about, look, I never go crazy. You know what I mean? I keep things in perspective. But I was about as mad as you can be while keeping things in perspective. I was about as pissed off as you can be while keeping things in perspective. After the game, and it's pretty much a point of emphasis, whenever the Niners lose, ain't no Sports Center watching. Ain't no NFL Network watching. Ain't no Fox Sports 1 watching. All right? We don't need to see no highlights. So that goes at any time. But I didn't even waste no time on Sunday. After the game Sunday, I don't even want to see Al Michaels and all them people in the post-game show. I turned that joint straight to TV1, watched a couple episodes of Martin, Everybody Hates Chris, and a damn documentary on Marvin Gaye. I didn't give a damn about sports for the rest of the night. And I just got around to caring about sports Monday at noon. Pissed me off. Like I was saying before, Niners absolutely dominated that game. They dominated the football game for 3 quarters. I mean, Matt Forte only had like 22 yards. Jay Cutler leads him back on his comeback and all this other stuff. He only had 178 yards. They controlled the game. They dominated the game. At one point in the game, there was more penalty yards by the San Francisco 49ers, and we'll get to that in a second. There was more penalty yards than Chicago passing yards. I mean, what the hell? You can't lose that game, man. Come on now. You can't lose that game. Anyway. As we all know, my man, my guy, the leader of this Niner gang, Colin Kaepernick, did not play well at all. They accounted for 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, and a fumble. And you can make the argument 2 of the interceptions, while they weren't perfect decisions and perfectly thrown balls, you got to tip your hat to the defense. Chris Conte, much maligned in Bears circles. Everybody in Bears circles hates Chris Conte. Made a fabulous diving pick the first time on what looked like if they would have been throwing it earlier, if it would have been a pump fake, would have had a wide open Anquan Bolden. So he makes a diving catch on that one, and And even though Cap stared down Bolden the whole time and probably threw it a little late as well, you got to tip your hat to Conti, who made a very, very good play. So you tip your hat to him. The second interception by Kyle Fuller, his first of the game, was just Kyle Fuller making a hell of a play. A little comeback route to Crabtree. Pass wasn't thrown in his chest, so to speak, but, I mean, Fuller one-handed, came out of nowhere and made the pick. You got to tip your hat to that. The second Fuller pick and the third one of the game for Colin Kaepernick was probably Cap's fault solely. Looked like Carrier was open. Looked like it was thrown a little late. Then while Fuller came off of his man Crabtree to make a pick, I mean, there was a lot going on there. Cap was throwing against his body. He was trying to throw the ball about 15, 20 yards down the field across his body on a rope. I mean, a lot of things can go wrong. And that's his third interception. The fumble is inexcusable. It's inexcusable. And you guys, you know, and anybody that listens to me, that follows me on Twitter at IMKDiddy, that follows me on Instagram at the same at IMKDiddy. You guys know, ain't no bad-mouthing Cap here. That's my guy. I believe in him, and he's going to take us to the promised land. I got no qualms about that, and Sunday didn't change that at all. But when I got to keep it real, I got to keep it real. The fumble was inexcusable. And I need Cap to get back to basics and start sliding a little more. He's over here trying to hit this right stick and truck cats all the time. Yo. I need my quarterback in the game. I don't need Blaine Gabbert as my quarterback. You got to start sliding. And it's funny, man, because the play before that, he scrambled for about, I don't know if it was the first down or if it was like second and long, and he got a chunk of it back. I can't remember. I'm so pissed I hadn't even watched the game again, and I don't think I'm going to. You know protocol. Niners lose. I'm not watching that game again. But he scrambles and picks up about 13 yards or so, and then he tries to evade the defender and takes a hit, takes a nice little hit from 2 or 3 Bears. Tried to truck him or whatever. And I was sitting there at the time. I was like, yo, man, you need to get down. You need to get down. I don't need you trying to truck people, man. I need you to get down. And I think it was the very next play. He runs a read option where he should have handed it off to Carlos Hyde. He kept it himself. And he fumbles the ball in Bears territory, in field goal range. And we get no points out of it. I can't have my quarterback trying to truck people all the time. I need Cap to go sliding again. I need him handing that ball off on the read option a little bit if you're going to run it. I need that percentage to be about 80% handoff, 20% keeper. Maybe even lower than that, 85% to 15%. All right? You know, I need my quarterback in the game, and I need him to play within the game. And he does a great job of that most times. Sunday, he did not do a great job of that. You felt like everything was all on him, it seemed like. And you've got too many weapons to feel that way. You got too many guys to take the pressure off of you to feel that way, Cap. Let the game come to you. When it comes to you, you'll dominate the game. You didn't do that on Sunday night. So, you know, with all that said, that was probably the worst game I've seen Colin Kaepernick play in his career. 4 turnovers, not the most accurate game, and they still had a chance to win that game at the end. Only lost by 8. So with all that said, you know, hell, you cut 2 of those turnovers in half, they probably win by 10 points. You know, simple as that. It just, you know, it's frustrating because I was tweeting about it, and they should have had 30 points at the half, let alone the entire game. They should have had 30 points at the half. I was disappointed they only had 17. I mean, it was such easy work to move that ball down the field and to matriculate that thing. They just didn't take advantage of it. To me, the first drive in the third quarter ending in only a field goal was probably the sequence of the game. I think they had a 1st and 6 from the 7, and they ran the ball into a wall 3 straight times. That one pissed me off. That one pissed me off because you let Cap throw the ball all damn game, and then you got to put it. They put the ball in the end zone there. It becomes 24-7, and it's almost lights out at that point because now it's a 3-score game. All right, now you got Chicago looking like, damn. Well, we got to get to 14, and then we got to get to 21, and then we got to get another score to tie or take the lead. All in about a quarter and a half. It's very daunting. All right, but instead you play it way too damn soft, and you run into a goddamn wall. It wasn't even like they were getting a push on the first 2 runs. They didn't get nowhere. And then you run it again on 3rd down from about the 5, instead of giving Kaepernick and all his weapons that we've been talking about the whole time an opportunity to make a play. You had Vernon, you had Carrier, you had Stevie Johnson, Bolden, Crabtree, all right there. And we run into the wall again. So we settled for the field goal, and that was pretty much it. That gave Cutler and the Bears a little moral victory. Gave them a little motivation to say, hey, we kept this at a game. We kept this at a 2-score game. Let's get a touchdown here and see what happens. Well, they got a touchdown here, and they saw what happened. So that was a frustrating part. But all in all, like I said, the Niners, they dominated that game. It wasn't a lot better. The 21-point fourth quarter that they gave up. I mean, that's an exception, not the rule. That's not going to happen. This defense isn't all-time great like they were maybe in 2011, but they're not that bad. 21 points in a quarter is just not going to happen against that team more times than not. It was, like I said, it was the exception, not the rule. So I'm not going to panic about it. But we got to shore up a couple things. We just got to get back to basics, man. Get back to basics. Take care of the football. Hold on to the ball. Limit the penalties. And do what we do on the offensive end. And we'll be fine. I mean, both games, the Niners put up 20 and they put up 28 in the first game. They should have had 30 to 40 both games. It's there. They eased up off the gas both games. Krabs said it best. They got to find that killer instinct. They got to start wanting to smack people around. Beat the hell out of them. They should have been looking at the Bears like, let's put 40 up on these dudes. And I know it's sacrilegious because we don't speak that name around here. But that team up in Seattle, that's one thing I will give them credit for. They don't come off the gas at all. They look to beat the hell out of you. Now the Niners need to find that because they're more talented than Seattle. They have way more opportunity to beat the hell out of somebody than the Seahawks do. And they just easing up off the gas. I don't know what it is. Keep your foot on the throat. So, hold on to the ball. Limit the penalties. Keep your foot on the throat. And everything will be fine. Now, this Sunday afternoon, it doesn't get any easier. You've got the first place, unreal, the first place Arizona Cardinals going to Arizona and taking on an M-Boys. This is a huge game. This is a big game on a number of different levels. It wouldn't be as big if they would have won on Sunday, in my opinion. But they didn't win on Sunday. So now this is a huge game. You got to bounce back. You got to bounce back. And now you're going up against a team that's in first place. And they're going to be revved up. And it's interesting how they revved up because, when you're the San Francisco 49ers, and when you're part of the NinerGang, Niner Empire, Niner Nation, whatever you want to call us today, 49er faithful, you become public enemy number one in this NFC West at all times for all teams. Whether it's the Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, it don't matter. They all want to validate themselves as an organization, as a contender, by beating you. Whether it's this year, whether it's in the Harbaugh era, or whether it was 7 years ago, or hell, I remember back in the Kurt Warner season. They felt like they had to validate when they won the Super Bowl in St. Louis. I'm sorry, let me clarify that. Not even in Arizona. When they won the Super Bowl in St. Louis, I'll never forget they played a game against the San Francisco 49ers, and you would have thought that was the Super Bowl. They had to validate themselves by beating the San Francisco 49ers in that situation. I'll never forget that. And once they did that, they felt like they could do all things. Well, same thing going on right here. Ain't nothing new to us. Arizona wants to validate themselves as a contender and as an organization as a whole by beating the 49ers this Sunday. So this place is going to be crazy. Arizona is going to be crazy. They're going to have that roof closed. They're going to have the place packed. They're going to be going nuts. They want to validate themselves. So it's a huge game psychologically for them and in the standings. The Niners just need to come out like business as usual and be pissed off from what they let happen on Sunday night. They need to have a certain sense of urgency that, in my opinion, they don't always have. They need to be pissed off. I think they will be. I think they will be. Now, when you look at Arizona, their defense is no joke. That defense, in my opinion, I have, and with all due respect to Seattle's defense, I get more worried about Arizona's defense because they locked down the run. At least last year they did, and the first two games I've seen so far this year is the same thing. They lock down the run game. So you've got to be aware of that. They're going to have to get some tough physical yards the 49ers are on the ground, and they've got to be ready for a dogfight. And the offensive line, speaking of that point, has to step up. I didn't think they were very good at all on Sunday, and they weren't very good in Dallas. They didn't create. It was feast or famine. They either had a great block and sprung Frank for big yardage, or they were getting stonewalled and nothing was opening up. They have to be better. Mike Iupati has to be better. Joe Staley has to be better. Alex Boone has to be better. Hopefully we get Anthony Davis back, and he's going to have to be better. If we don't, Jonathan Martin has to be 10 times better than what he was on Sunday. That offensive line has to be better, especially in the run game. So you got to be ready for that against AZ. They've got the secondary with Peterson. They got, Rogers Cromartie now. They've got Antonio. They got Antonio Cromartie. They got one other dude. I forgot who they got in the secondary. But you got to be ready for that. We've got the weapons to compete with that, though. This isn't like it was last year when we just had one or two weapons. We got weapons at the tight end position. We go about 4 or 5 receivers deep. We've got dual running backs, so we can match that firepower. We just got to take advantage of the opportunities that we have. All right, so, when talking about who's going to win this game, final score, all that other stuff, at the beginning of the season, I had Arizona winning this game, man. I had Arizona winning this game. I had the Niners going into it at 2-0, not 1-1. I had Arizona winning this game. I thought that's a tough situation. I felt like Arizona at the time, I think, would be 2-0 as well. They would be fired up. Like I said, they would look at this as a statement. And I had the Niners, losing a close game. And, some people may look at me and say, how can you do that? You're a Niner fan. You're quitting on your team. You don't have faith in your team. You're turning your back on them. Don't come back when they win the game and be happy. Man, shut the hell up, man. I keep it 100 at all times. I keep it 100 at all times. And as much as I like the 49ers, if I don't feel like they're going to win a game, if I feel like, objectively speaking, this isn't in favor for them, the situation or the matchups or whatever it may be, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you know, Niners fan or not. So when I tell you that I initially, looked at this game and had Arizona winning the game, that's just me keeping it 100%. However, I look at this team and I feel like they're going to answer the ball. I've looked at it again and I said, you know what? Jim Harbaugh, Justin Smith, Colin Kaepernick, Patrick Willis, Frank Gore. No. They ain't going out like that. They ain't going out like that this week. They're going into Arizona and they're winning this game. A late Phil Dawson field goal will give them the win by 3, and they'll come out tied for first place with Arizona and maybe Seattle and St. Louis. Who knows? Who gives a damn? But the 49ers are going to go into AZ. They're going to go into Cardinals territory. They gonna hand them that loss, baby. They gonna hand them that loss. 49er faithful, NinerGang, stand up with me. I appreciate you listening to this. I want you to tell a friend. I want you to retweet this for your boy. I want you to like it on Instagram. Check it out on YouTube. Tell a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Hey, let's have a good time this Sunday while we get back to our winning ways. Y'all be good. NinerGang. 100.
My life is a movie. I gotta stay focused.